Scattered across the globe are colossal mines, once bustling with activity, now silent and abandoned. From immense open pits to vast underground labyrinths, join me, I'm counting down 15 of the largest abandoned mines in the world. Starting with number 15, the Big Hole. Not to be confused with your mama jokes, the Big Hole in Kimberley, South Africa is all that's left of a monument to the relentless pursuit of wealth and the raw determination of 19th century miners. It's known as the Kimberley Mine. It's claimed to be the largest hand-dug excavation on Earth, though this title is occasionally disputed by another South African mine, Jagersfontein. Now, whether or not it holds the absolute record, the Big Hole remains a staggering feat of manual labor. The story of it begins in 1871, when diamonds were first discovered on a small hill on the farm owned by the De Beers brothers. When the news spread, the hill was transformed almost overnight as hopeful prospectors flooded all in the hunt for diamonds. When operations stopped in 1914, the Big Hole measured roughly 1,500 feet wide and was excavated to a depth of 790 feet. However, debris filled part of the pit, reducing its visible depth to about 705 feet. Today, around 130 feet of water fills the bottom of the pit, giving it a distinct blue-green hue. This Big Hole was no ordinary mining project. While today's large-scale excavations rely heavily on machinery, every inch of Kimberley's Big Hole was dug by hand. The mine eventually yielded over 6,000 pounds, or roughly 13.6 million carats of diamonds, feeding the ever-growing demand for those precious stones. As surface operations became dangerous and less productive, the mine's owners, the now famous De Beers Company, founded by Cecil Rhodes, extended operations underground, reaching a depth of about 3,600 feet. Number 14, the Chuquicamata Mine. Chuquicamata, or 1.9 miles in width and plunging nearly 3,000 feet, Chuqui's vast pit is visible from space. In an environment where water is scarce, even the essentials of mining, cooling machinery, dust suppression, and copper extraction become complex challenges. Yet thanks to extensive engineering feats, Chuqui has managed to function for over a century, overcoming the region's isolation and dryness. Water and electricity must be sourced and managed with care, reflecting the many costs that go beyond simply extracting copper. Long before industrial mining began, indigenous Atacameno tribes were likely the first to use copper from this area. Following the Spanish colonial era, Chile's rich mineral resources continued to attract attention, although large-scale mining only took hold in the late 19th century. During this period, Chuqui became a hub for miners drawn by what became known as the Red Gold Fever, driven by copper's growing demand and industrialized nations. In the 1970s, Chile nationalized its copper resources, bringing Chuqui under the ownership of copper than any other mine in history, over 19 million tons. The Bingham Canyon Mine is a major player in global copper supply and a source of immense value in various precious metals and minerals. Originally discovered by two brothers, Sanford and Thomas Bingham, in 1848, the potential for copper in this canyon was apparent from the start. However, it wasn't until the late 19th century that large-scale mining operations were established here, transforming it from a modest mining zone into one of the world's most famous copper mines. Railroads, steam shovels, and a well-planned industrial complex brought in thousands of workers and made the site a pioneer in large-scale mining methods. By the 1920s, the area was bustling with over 15,000 people from all over the world, living in mining camps along the steep canyon walls. Now, the mine's physical dimensions are mind-boggling. It stretches 2.5 miles wide and more than 3/4 of a mile deep. For scale, that is nearly as deep as 4 Empire State Buildings stepped on its total metal output, surpassing that of historic mining regions like California's gold rush sites. For example, in 2005, high molybdenum prices made this mineral nearly as valuable as the copper produced that year. In 2023, Bingham Canyon was still producing around 150,000 tons of copper annually, highlighting its enduring significance in a world increasingly dependent on that versatile material. Number 12. Mponeng Gold Mine. The Mponeng Gold Mine in South Africa is a world-famous mine, not only for the vast amount of gold it's produced, but also for being the deepest mine on the planet. It reaches an astounding depth of over 2.5 miles below the Earth's surface. This enormous mine began operations in 1968, initially known as the Western Deeps Level No. 1 shaft, and has since been a major player in global gold production. The extreme depth here brings its own unique set of challenges. temperatures at the deepest points can reach over 140 degrees Fahrenheit, making the environment harsh billions of years ago. Operating at such depths, Mponeng has seen its fair share of unusual stories. An Ecuadorian marathon runner even completed a half marathon inside the mine. However, its depth also makes it dangerous. In 2020, a seismic event caused a tragic accident, and the mine also experienced temporary shutdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite those challenges, though, Mponeng continues to operate, with plans to mine even deeper, extending its production life until 2029. Hopefully they don't hit a Balrog. Number 11. The Darwin Mine. Tucked away in the hills of Inyo County, California, on the edge of Death Valley National Park, lies the abandoned Darwin Mine, a relic of the American West's mining boom. This once thriving center of silver, lead, and zinc extraction is now a ghostly reminder of the boom and bust cycles that defined the era. Its story, one of ambition, ingenuity, and eventual decline, early 20th century. At its peak, the Darwin Mine supported a vibrant, albeit remote town with a population numbering in the hundreds. The mine's importance diminished over time. By the mid-20th century, the richest ore veins had been depleted, and the fluctuations of metal prices made further mining increasingly uneconomical. The mine ceased operations in the 1970s, leaving behind a landscape dotted with crumbling buildings and rusting machinery. Today, the Darwin Mine is a shell of its former self, its once vital machinery silent, its workers long gone. What remains is a haunting tableau of abandonment. Visitors to the site encounter decaying ore processing facilities, tailing piles, and precarious vertical shafts that plunge deep into the earth. The remnants of mining equipment coated in decades of rust stand as silent witnesses to the relentless efforts to those who sought to extract fortune from the unforgiving desert. The nearby town of Darwin, now home to only a handful of residents, reflects a similar fate. Once a thriving community, history of the American West, it's a testament to the ingenuity and determination of miners who braved the harsh conditions to forge livelihoods in one of the most inhospitable regions of the country. The site also draws interest of history enthusiasts and urban explorers who come to experience the stark beauty of its ruins and reflect on the human stories that played out there. Number 10. Udakni. The Udakni Mine, located near its namesake town in the remote Sakha Republic of Russia, stands as an example of human ambition and geological fortune. Udakni translates to lucky in Russian, a fitting name for a diamond deposit that's delivered billions of carats since its discovery in 1955. Located just outside the Arctic Circle, this mine is among the largest diamond reserves on Earth, with an estimated 164 million carats still buried in its depths. Beyond its riches, Udakni is a marvel of engineering and an undeniable giant in the mining world. The open pit of kimberlite-rich rock. For decades, heavy machinery clawed through layers of permafrost and subarctic soils, creating terraces that descended into the earth like giant frozen steps. As the open pit approached exhaustion in the early 2010s, Alrosa, the state-owned mining giant that operates Udakni, turned to underground mining to access deeper reserves. By 2014, a massive underground operation was commissioned to replace the pit. This underground mine is poised to become one of the largest of its kind, eventually reaching depths exceeding 3,280 feet, almost twice the depth of the original pit. At its peak, the Udakni mine produced around 3.74 million carats of diamond annually, contributing approximately 9% of Alrosa's total output. Udakni's history is not without controversy. In 1974, a 1.7 kiloton nuclear explosion was conducted just over 320 feet underground near the site as part of a project to create a tailings dam basin. The detonation, however, produced far greater. Despite its isolation, over 316 miles from the district center of Mirny, the town thrives on diamond production, supported by infrastructure like the Polyarny Airport just 12 miles away. Number 9. Corta Atalaya. Corta Atalaya, located in the western part of the Iberian Pyrite Belt, is Europe's largest open-pit mine and was once the largest in the world. Situated within the limits of Minas del Rio Tinto in the province of Huelva, Andalusia, Spain, the mine is a striking example of both human engineering and environmental challenges posed by large-scale mining. Covering an area of about 3,900 feet long, 3,000 feet wide, and 1,100 feet deep, Corta Atalaya became one of the most ambitious projects ever undertaken by the Rio Tinto Group. Now, its history dates back to 1907 when the Rio Tinto Company recognized the potential of the area's extensive sulfide ore deposits. These deposits are part of the larger Iberian pyrite belt where the mine once thrived. Its operation altered not only the landscape but also the surrounding communities. The village of La Atalaya, initially constructed in 1883 for miners, was directly impacted by the expansion. As the pit grew, the town's buildings and infrastructure were destroyed, and the population dwindled, ultimately leading to the town's displacement in 1971. Since its closure, the mine has become a symbol of both industrial ambition and environmental rehabilitation. The current owner, Imed Tartessus, has worked on cleaning and restarting the mine, projecting an eventual reopening and a revival of local employment. At its peak, the mine did have a workforce of 2,000, and Imed plans to employ 450 people upon full resumption of operations. Efforts, though, have focused on mitigating the environmental impact, and the mine is expected to contribute significantly to Spain's economy, with the company projecting annual spending of over 130 million euros. Number 8. Silver Islet. The Silver Islet mine, the remains of the infrastructure, along with the history of the mining town that once thrived nearby, continue to draw interest. The discovery of silver at Silver Islet in 1868 was nothing short of a sensation. It was a Montreal Mining Company prospector who first found the rich vein of pure silver on the otherwise unremarkable island, which initially measured just 540 square feet and stood only 8 feet above the water of Lake Superior. Mining operations began in earnest, and by the late 1870s, the mine was producing significant quantities. The ore extracted from Silver Islet was of exceptional purity, and as the mining techniques improved, the mine became one of the richest silver producers in the world at the time. Mine shafts were sunk to depths of over 1,200 feet, plunging into the frigid waters of Lake Superior. The challenge of preventing the lake from flooding the mine shafts was a constant concern. In 1884, the Silver Islet mine's fate was sealed by a simple but disastrous event: a shipment of coal crucial for running the from Kolar and about 62 miles from Bengaluru, in the region that became synonymous with gold mining for over a century. The mines, which were among the deepest in the world, reached depths of up to 9,000 feet, and over their operational lifespan, goldfields produced over 900 tons of gold. The history of these fields can be traced back to the late 1800s, when the British mining magnate John Taylor III acquired a series of gold mines in the area. His company, John Taylor & Sons, operated the mines until 1956. In 1902, these mines were electrified, a remarkable feat at the time, with electricity being supplied from a hydroelectric power station, located about 87 miles away. This was one of the earliest examples of industrial electrification in India, showcasing the global scale of Kolar's mining operations. By the 1950s, the fields were nationalized and became a vital part of India's gold production strategy. The town of Robert Sanpet became the central hub for the mining community, where British engineers, Indian geologists, and supervisors lived among the laborers who worked in continuous production. Environmental concerns and the unsustainable nature of mining at such depths led to the decision to shut down operations. Today, the town of Kolar continues to reflect the impact of the gold mining industry, and the mine's remnants serve as a reminder of the vast industrial effort that once defined this region. Number 6. Bodie, California. Bodie, California, dude, is one of the most iconic ghost towns in the United States, offering a fascinating glimpse into the boom and bust cycle of American mining industries. Located in Mono County, east of Sierra Nevada mountain range, Bodie sits at an elevation of 8,300 feet, about 75 miles southeast of Lake Tahoe. Initially a mining camp, after gold was discovered in 1859, Bodie became a thriving boomtown in 1876, when gold was found in large quantities in the nearby Bodie mine. By 1879, Bodie had transformed into a settlement with approximately 2,000 buildings and a population ranging from 7,000 to further devastated the business district. And by 1942, the last mine was shut down due to World War II production restrictions. In 1962, though, Bodie was designated a state historic park, preserving the remnants of the town and its mines. Today, Bodie State Historic Park is one of the most visited ghost towns in California, attracting around 200,000 people annually. Although much of Bodie's past is gone, the bones of the town and its mines still stand as a reminder of a brief but intense period of American history. Number 5. Serra Pelada. Serra Pelada, meaning Naked Mountain Range, is a small district located in the southeastern part of Pará in Brazil. In the 1980s, it became globally infamous for its gold rush, which led to the creation of one of the largest and most chaotic gold mines in history. Situated about 270 miles south of the mouth of the Amazon River, Cerro Pelado was not only a site of intense human labor, but also a symbol of the extremes people would go to for wealth. The site was remote, and access was pretty difficult. Miners often paid exorbitant fees for transport either by plane or by walking miles through dense jungle. The gold rush inevitably attracted an estimated 100,000 miners at its peak, some reports even suggesting there were far more, making it one of the largest operations in the world at that time. By 1980, Cerro Pelado was producing 1 metric ton of gold per month, 3 times the output of Brazil's next largest mine. Now, a striking characteristic of this mine, made famous in images by renowned photographers such as Sebastião Salgado and Alfredo Jar, was the sight of thousands of workers, many barely clothed and operating without significant technology, in a relentless and dangerous scramble to extract gold from the earth. This site became a symbol of the human cost of the gold rush, with miners working in perilous conditions, often in unhealthy and exploitative circumstances. However, by the mid-1980s, Number 4. The Super Pit. The Fimiston Open Pit, known colloquially as the Super Pit, is in Kalgoorlie, Western Australia, and it's the second largest open-pit gold mine in the country. It stretches over 2 miles in length, a mile wide, and descends to a depth of more than 1,900 feet. As of 2016, it was surpassed by the Newmont-Boddington gold mine in terms of production, but it remains one of the largest and most significant gold mines in the world. The Super Pit operates under the ownership of Northern Star Resources, and in 2019 it produced 14.2 tons of gold. The mining process here at the pit involves drilling, blasting, and the use of massive machines like face shovels and dump trucks, some of which are as large as buildings. Around 15 million tons of rock are removed annually, most of it waste rock, to extract the gold. The ore is processed in several stages, first through gravity circuits to recover higher-grade loads, followed by flotation to create a concentrate, and then finally refined using cyanide mining dating back to the 1890s. The area's initial gold rush helped establish Kalgoorlie as a mining hub, but despite the challenges posed by the depleted reserves, the Super Pit is still a key player in Australia's status as the third largest gold producer globally. Number 3. The Homestake Mine. The Homestake Mine, once the largest and deepest gold mine in the Western Hemisphere, stands as a chapter in both the history of mining and scientific discovery. Located in Leeds, South Dakota, the mine operated for over 120 years from 1876 until its closure in 2002. In that time, it extracted more than 40 million ounces of gold, making it one of the most productive mines in the world. Yet the legacy of this mine extends far beyond the wealth of gold. The site's also known for its pivotal role in scientific research, particularly the field of physics and geology. The discovery of gold in the Black Hills, which were part of the Lakota Sioux territory, sparked a mass migration of miners in iron-rich rock layers. The extraction process involved a combination of traditional mining techniques and new technologies that help increase efficiency. The introduction of compressed air locomotives in the 1920s, for example, allowed for faster transportation of mined material, replacing animal power. However, the mine's legacy is not solely defined by its contributions to the gold industry. In the 1960s, a scientist named Raymond Davis Jr. chose the Homestake Mine as the location for a groundbreaking experiment to detect solar neutrinos. This experiment, known as the Homestake Experiment, became a cornerstone of astrophysics. It ultimately led to the discovery of the solar neutrino problem, a discrepancy between the number of neutrinos predicted by solar models and the number detected by the experiment. This problem would later be resolved with the discovery of neutrino oscillation, a phenomenon that revealed that neutrinos could change types as they traveled through space, earning Davis the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2002. As the demand for gold dwindled and mining operations became more costly, the Homestake Mine was forced to close in 2000, operating mining fields, and played a central role in shaping local economies and the town of Queenstown. Over its century-long life, the mine produced significant quantities of copper, gold, and silver, amassing a wealth of over $4 billion in metals. The origins of the mine can be traced back to 1883, when 3 gold prospectors staked a claim in what would become later known as the Mount Lael Field. However, it was in 1892 that the Mount Lael Gold Mining Company was formed, only to be bought up by Adelaide financiers 2 years later. A railway was soon constructed, linking Queenstown with the Strahan, which allowed for the easier transport of supplies and boosted the town's population to around 5,000. Mining operations here were heavily reliant on the smelting process, which required large amounts of fuel to operate the furnaces. As a result, vast areas of surrounding bushland were cleared to feed 11 furnaces, consuming up to 2,000 tons of wood per week. The mine's tailings, waste material left after mineral extraction, were disposed of directly into the King. Dollars for a cleanup, little has been done to mitigate the ongoing pollution. The state of Tasmania, while acknowledging the severity of the issue, has struggled to find the necessary funding and political will to take meaningful action. Meanwhile, the mine's legacy of environmental destruction continues to affect local ecosystems and public health. Number 1. The Mere Mine. The Mere Mine is one of the largest and most fascinating open-pit diamond mines in the world. It's located in the remote town of Mirny in the Sakha Republic of Siberia in Russia. With a depth of 1,700 feet and a diameter of 3,900 feet, it ranks as the 4th deepest man-made excavation globally and has been an integral part of Russia's diamond industry since its discovery in 1955. The discovery of the Mere Mine's diamond-bearing kimberlite deposits was made by Soviet geologist Yuri Kabadarin, Ekaterina Elagina, and Viktor Avdenko in 1955. Their findings led to the establishment of the mine and discovered in December 1980. While the Mere Mine's industrial significance is clear, it also holds a place in pop culture and myth. One fascinating rumor surrounding the mine involves its effect on helicopters. It's said that the mine creates a dangerous air vortex that can suck helicopters into its massive pit if they fly too close. Though this claim has not been substantiated, it does add to the eerie reputation of the site. Today, the Mere Mine remains an amazing feat of engineering and an enduring symbol of the Soviet Union's ambitious industrial projects. It's a reminder of their prowess required to operate in one of the harshest climates on Earth. The Mere Mine has also contributed to the development of the region's infrastructure, including the use of enormous trucks capable of hauling rock. Those trucks, with tires 20 feet tall, can transport tons of rock from the depths of the mine,